Yo, what's going on people? It's your boy Ape Huncho, back at you again with another video. And for this next one, we've got to head over to Llanelli, South Wales. And although this story is about 2 weeks old or so, I thought I needed to highlight it because it shows how not all armed officers need to use deadly force when it comes to them potentially being under threat. I know recently there's been a lot of talk from the public about all police officers becoming armed because we've seen a lot of gun crime in the news, and even Nottinghamshire police have gone on to create a team of armed police officers outside of the normal armed response units. Of course, as well, this story sets a good example to police officers over in America, which shows that although yes, police are armed with a gun, not every situation requires you to use deadly force. So this story takes place on the 24th of May 2020, and 29-year-old Aaron Colins had gone into a friend's flat armed with an air pistol. For whatever reason, a fight soon follows on the doorstep, and Aaron smacks his friend over the head a number of times with the butt of the gun before eventually being overpowered, and then he returns home. The friend would phone police soon after and told them what had happened, and he also told them that Aaron was armed with a gun. I believe that the friend thought the firearm was real, and so firearms officers were deployed to Aaron's home. When armed officers arrived at the property shortly after midnight, they began to engage in a conversation with Aaron. Officers would go on to describe him as being distressed and emotionally unstable, so from the officers' testimonies, you can see that at any moment, shots could potentially go off. Throughout the conversation with officers, he kept repeatedly telling them he had a Magnum revolver and said they were either going to have to shoot him or he would shoot them. Officers then heard a weapon being discharged inside the flat, and Aaron told them, "We'll have a shootout like in the films," before challenging them to see who would be quickest to draw first, either him or police. It was then he began to count down from inside the property, and officers responded by placing a full-length ballistic shield between themselves and the front door. Aaron then opens the door and points the firearm at police, but using their knowledge on firearms because they're highly trained officers, they quickly noticed that it was an imitation firearm, and so they quickly discharged a taser and a baton round, which together knocked him to the ground. After an investigation into the firearm, it was found to be an ASG gas-powered revolver with a 22cm barrel, and it was described as being a realistic-looking firearm. When being interviewed by police, Aaron said he had intended for the police to shoot him, and that he, quote, prayed to Jesus to make it quick. He also said, quote, "I can't believe you didn't shoot me, you should have shot me, I wanted to die." In regards to where he purchased the gun, he said that he bought it from a fishing supply shop. He would go on to plead guilty to 2 counts of possession of an imitation firearm with intent to cause fear, alarm or distress. In court, it was heard that he had 1 previous conviction for an assault on an emergency worker, for which he received a 4-week prison sentence for. John Tarrant, defending Aaron, said that he had been diagnosed with, quote, unstable personality disorder, and it was a condition which experts concluded could be managed in the community. He said Aaron was remorseful for the incident involving the police and wished to formally apologise to the officers. Judge Paul Thomas QC then sentenced Aaron to 3 years in prison, and he'll have to serve 36 months before being released on licence. So as you can see, when you've got armed officers that are not trigger happy, keep a cool head and stay calm under pressure, it really does show that people don't have to die in situations like this. But again, this situation could have ended up fatal for Aaron, but because armed police officers in the UK are highly trained, they understand situations like this, and again, they can spot imitation firearms. Obviously, this was at close range, so it was easy to point out. It might not be as easy to do it from a distance, but because they were so close, of course, they were able to spot that it was an imitation firearm. But what's your guys' thoughts on this whole situation? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Ape Huncho, and I'm out.